Today, we're going to dive into the absolutely incredible story of an American hero you've probably never heard of. It's a story of courage, of resilience, and a journey that took her from the bonds of slavery straight to the front lines of the Civil War.
Take a look at this photograph from 1898. That's Lucy Higgs Nichols standing there, surrounded by veterans of the Grand Army of the Republic. Now, she's not just posing with them, she's one of them. In fact, she was the only woman in the entire country to be made an honorary member. But her story didn't start in a place of honor like this. No, it began in bondage.
So that's the big question, right? How did a woman who is legally considered property, not even a person, completely transform her life to become a war hero, celebrated by the very soldiers she served? Her story? Well, it's just a stunning testament to the power of the human spirit.
To really understand how incredible her life was, we have to go back to the very beginning, to her dangerous, desperate escape to freedom.
You see, Lucy was born in 1838 under the brutal system of chattel slavery. And that's a cold, legal term, but what it meant for her was that she wasn't a person. She was property, plain and simple. For most of her early life, she was shuffled between family members in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Mississippi. Basically just a name and legal papers over who owned her.
So then, in 1862, when she's just 24 years old, Lucy hears she's about to be moved even deeper south. That was it. She knew she had to act. With her little daughter Mona, she made a run for it, traveling almost 30 miles on foot. Can you imagine? They eventually crossed the Hatchie River and stumbled into the camp of the Union Army's 23rd Indiana Regiment. And right there, her entire life was about to change.
And they didn't just give her a safe place to stay. Oh no, she immediately made herself completely indispensable. And this is where the legend of Aunt Lucy, as the soldiers all called her, really begins. She made a huge impression right away. Major Shadrach Hooper, one of the officers, didn't just see a refugee. He saw this person of incredible character. He described her as honest, intelligent, cheerful, and kind. And those qualities would really define her entire time with him.
And serve she did. My goodness. Lucy became the heart and soul of that regiment. She wasn't just a nurse. She was a cook, a seamstress, she washed their clothes. She would even go foraging in the woods for herbs to use as medicine. And on top of all that, she sang to keep their spirits up. And get this, she did all of it tirelessly without ever getting paid a dime.
And the scale of her service, it's just staggering. She was there for 28 major battles. Just let that sink in for a moment. From the horrific Siege of Vicksburg all the way to General Sherman's March to the Sea, Lucy was right there on the front lines, taking care of the wounded.
But all of this dedication, all of this service to the Union, it came with an absolutely unimaginable personal cost.
During that awful Siege of Vicksburg, Lucy's little girl, Mona, passed away. The soldiers who had come to see Lucy and Mona as part of their own family were completely heartbroken, and they did something extraordinary. They gave that little girl a full military funeral, burying her right next to their fallen comrades. That single act of respect and love cemented a bond that would last a lifetime. So even though she lost her precious daughter, Lucy gained something she never ever had before. A real family, one that was forged in the fire of war.
I mean, it really is as simple and as profound as this. She went from being a name on a legal document, listed as property, to being a loved member of a family.
And this wasn't just some temporary wartime thing, not at all. After the war, she moved to New Albany, Indiana, right along with the men of the 23rd. Their bond was real. When Lucy got sick with measles, they were the ones who nursed her back to health. Years later, when she had a stroke, they were there again. She was an honored guest at their family weddings, and you better believe she proudly marched with them in every single Memorial Day parade. And all that respect, all that love, it led to this, something totally unprecedented. The Grand Army of the Republic, the biggest veterans group in the whole country, made Aunt Lucy their one and only honorary female member. No other woman in the nation held that distinction.
But her story isn't quite over yet. There was one last battle to fight. Years after the war, Lucy and her family of soldiers had to take on the U.S. government for the official recognition she deserved.
So, in 1892, Lucy applied for a pension. There was a new law for Civil War nurses, and she clearly qualified. But she was denied. The reason? No records of her employment. Well, of course there were no records. She was never officially on the payroll. But the men of the 23rd, they were not having it. 55 of them signed a petition to Congress, and they fought for years. Finally, in 1898, Congress passed a special act just for her.
They granted her a pension of $12 a month. Now that amount might seem small to us today, but what it represented, well, that was monumental. It was the United States government officially saying, "We see you. We recognize your service, your sacrifice, and your humanity."
Lucy passed away in 1915, and she was buried in an unmarked grave. It's sad to say, but for almost 100 years, her story was pretty much forgotten. But today, her legacy is stronger than ever. In 2011, this historical marker was put up in New Albany, the town that truly became her home. It's a permanent tribute, making sure that her name and her incredible life will not be lost to time ever again. Her life is now celebrated in museums, it's shared in history programs, and it's told in books. And even though she still lies in that unmarked grave, her story of incredible courage and compassion is now known all across the country, a powerful reminder of a forgotten part of our history.
And all of this leaves you with one final lingering question. Lucy's story was pulled back from the edge of obscurity thanks to the people who knew her and the historians who fought to tell it. And it just makes you wonder, how many other heroes just like her are still out there, their stories just waiting to be told?